Welcome to Beyond the Veil with Norman Meredith.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Beyond the Veil. It's me, your host, Norman. I'm soloing tonight, so it's just me, myself, and I, just the three of us. So one of us three will be talking somehow and later. Coming out of our studio easily tonight because the air conditioner in the Pickens studio is kaput, and I don't like being a casualty of heat stroke. So being me, myself, and I, coming tonight, we're going to have episode 109, where we're going to talk about the cryptids of the Virgin Islands. Yeah, they got some nice little bit of cryptids, and we're going to start out tonight with the Jumblies. The Jumblies are supernatural spirits that make up the backbone of Caribbean folklore. Unlike the wispy, ghost-like entities found in traditional European mythology, Jumblies are cast as shadow-like beings or restless spirits of the dead that return to haunt the living with both mischievous and malevolent intent. That sounds like my ex-wives. Sightings. Locals on American ghost walks agree that these entities frequently appear as animals, mimic voices, enter homes through keyholes. Many believe the historic grounds of the Fort Christian and the Crown Bay Cemetery are active hotspots. This is interesting. So, I know where we just have traditional ghosts that just come, walk around the house, maybe rattle a window or move something around. These things get out there and just create havoc. They move things, they break things. They're the guys that come prancing out of windows and scare the bejesus out of you. You might be looking in the mirror and they're the ones that come flying out of there and just making all sorts of horrible faces at you. And if you ever watched the Ghostbusters movie and remember the creature called Slimer that comes flying out and just hits you with the slime, that's what we're talking about here. This is what the Jumblee is supposed to be. It is supposed to be a very horrible creature or spirit that just creates all sorts of, it just ruins your day. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you want to play with. And this is the type of spirit that is just not a happy camper. And I just can't understand them. Why here in the Virgin Islands, why they're probably not happy campers, where it seems like all in the rest of the world are pretty happy. I don't know. If you got any ideas in that, let me know. But what we're going to do is move on to our next one, which is an interesting story. It's called the Cowfoot Woman, a distinct cryptid specific to the U.S. Virgin Islands folklore. To the Cowfoot Woman, the legend describes a shape-shifting, half-human, half-hoofed entity that is said to haunt the dense, hilly terrain and forests across the islands. Now, sightings, according to the consensus of stories on Facebook public group accounts of the Cowfoot Woman roaming near remote trails and Frenchtown ruins, are a common fixture in local oral histories. Where everybody else has werewolves and things like that, well, the Virgin Islands got to have a werecow, basically is what they're saying. Is this woman's lower half has hooves. She looks like the top half of a woman, but her lower half is got cow hooves. Well, I even found a picture of an attractive African female, or Pan-Caribbean African female, with, here we go, cow hooves. Now, either this is a deformity, or this could be, depending on how it's laid out, this could be a setup using a dead cow's front legs, and looking at the way this couch is set up, it could be staged. The reason I say staged, because you got to remember, people try pull hoaxes. And then now with the advent of AI, anything is possible nowadays. I mean, I went and watched a video somebody was trying to say about this drone, and I said, nah, that's an AI, because I've already seen it before, and it's already been debunked as being AI. So, I wouldn't put past someone taking the front hoof of a cow and having this woman being portrayed as having hooves and acting the part when she may not be. So this may be a poor excuse that somebody's trying to do to gain her money through a scam, possibly. But that's my opinion. Now, here's an interesting thing to know about the Virgin Islands, and I didn't know this. Werewolves. Yep. Okay, now here's another one about the cow-footed woman. They got her looking like a green type creature that's running around, almost like turning into a cow. You look at the first hand of the hands up the front there. They're starting to look a little gnarly there, and then the back feet. And then what? Do I got one more there? Okay. Now we're going to go. But werewolves roam the island. You know, I would have figured it would have been zombies. They would have come up with zombies because of voodoo. But no, nothing was mentioned about zombies or voodoo, which surprised me. You know, I know in Haiti, voodoo is very popular, but it's not in the Virgin Islands. It surprised me. Now, there are stories of shape-shifting werewolves which are frequently shared in the Virgin Islands, drawing deep from a mixture of Danish and Caribbean tales. Unlike the tradition of man tearing into wolf found in the mainland North American lore, the Virgin Island werewolves are historically said to form Danish male settlers into beast. So basically these are men that turn on the full moon into the werewolves. Now, tours detailed by the VI Virgin Island Ghost Tours lore enthusiasts discuss lore that as creature sightings are frequently associated with remote sugar plantains like the Amberg at night. You know, so they have a lot of sugar plantations down there. Excuse me, folks, for massacring that word. And this is where a lot of the sightings were seen. And you know, there is that disease where some men and women can get that disease where they got a lot of hair around their faces. And a plantation can be a place where somebody could live out their life a little bit away from folks, you know, even through a running plantation, or like think a running farm in obscurity, but still be seen coming out at night and being misrepresented. So I wouldn't put it past that being an occurrence. But, you know, they don't say too much more about the werewolves, you know, going on to tearing sprees or murder sprees or people being killed or goats and sheep disappearing or little kids or anything. Just the fact that these werewolves were appearing. Now, here's an interesting encounter that I even found out is the Virgin Islands are also known hotspot for guess what? Yes, folks. Yes, Virginia, there are UFOs very much known in the area of the Virgin Islands. And this would go with the theory of underwater bases that have been supposedly suggested being in and around the area of the Virgin Islands Sea, in the water around in the Atlantic Ocean. Especially because, you know, you have the Bermuda Triangle out that way. And there are reports of an underground city there. Which one? Atlantis. Atlantis is supposedly either a former civilization from Earth, a predecessor civilization, or it's an alien civilization that is built and is under the water in the Atlantic, of course. And so there's a lot of people see, believe it or not, UFOs and unidentified submersible objects. And there wasn't, you know, so there's a combination of a little bit of everything going on there. Or if you want to go with the other option, option 3, it's our government running deep black ops craft that officially do not exist on the budget. You know, where we train and experiment with reverse engineered craft. Now that could be what's going on here, and that's what we're seeing. So what do you think about all that, folks? Could it be the UFOs are ours? And what do you think about the tidbits about the little bit of information you picked up on the Virgin Islands? Interesting? Yeah. So I'm going to leave it with y'all on this. It's a short episode because there wasn't a lot of information on the Virgin Islands. So this is about a 10-minute show. And I hope you enjoyed just a little bit I was able to give to you tonight. And we're going to be going on to our next bonus episode, which will be episode 110, where we're going to talk, cryptids of Guam in the next episode. Thank you, folks.